Hey everyone, this is Johnny and welcome to episode 119 of the Travel Like a Boss podcast. I'm here with Max and Swoy for a follow-up on lots of good things.
Yeah, lots of good things, man.
So the last time that we hung out, it was in Koh Lanta. We were co-working down there, but we were both back in Chiang Mai, at least for the meantime. If you guys don't know, Max is the other member in the Mastermind, our Mastermind, which Max started. So go back and listen to that episode. Do you remember what it was?
What's that?
Do you remember what episode that was? The last
I don't remember exactly the number, but I think it was was it in March? Yeah, definitely. I think it was in March.
Yeah, so
like end of March probably.
We'll link it in the show notes. This is episode 119. You can just go to travellikeabosspodcast.com and I'll have a link to everything we talk about. But how's everything going?
It's good, man. It's very good, actually. I must say, we've made a lot of progress. Recently, like second quarter, and
a ton, like more than I think either of us ever would have done without each other. And it's not like we do any work for each other. I think sometimes people have the misconception that if you are friends with someone who is successful, who is good with like marketing or something, that they'll do work for you. I don't think like we've ever really sat on like at each other's computers and did more than like 2 seconds worth of work.
Yeah,
it's always kind of like it's more about like accountability and telling the other person like what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I think and unlocking ideas. I think too. Because I think we're really good. Me and you, we know how to do our stuff. We know how to get things done, and if we don't, then we know who to talk to get it done. But sometimes it's just you don't see the elephant in front of you, and somebody just needs to point it out to you, and
so
that's been great.
Do you remember when you started this mastermind? What was that first?
Yeah, I think it was mid-January.
Okay, so the beginning of the year. Now it's been 6 months. How many weeks is that? It's 26 weeks.
Yeah, definitely close to half a year.
And the craziest thing, I think the best thing is we have not missed a single meeting.
Yeah.
So
true.
We should pat ourselves on the back for that, because I really, really, truly believe that it's just the fact that we show up every week. We get ahead.
Definitely, it really helped me. I must say, I have some good like self-discipline. But this has been even better because it's like you come to that meeting and then you establish what you're gonna do, and then it's like wrapping up that week of like work, and this is what you're gonna do, and this is fixed, and then you can't go like, oh, this week I'm gonna do this and this and that, and at the middle of the week you're like, oh my god, I put way too much work and blah blah, and then you start to putting excuses on yourself and stuff. So that's like really good, I must say, I definitely this mastermind definitely helped me, in terms of efficiency, at least get like 50% to 100% more efficient, like in terms of doing stuff.
Yeah, I like it. So let's first talk about, what we've accomplished through the mastermind. So I'll go first, and then I'll have you go. And at the end, we'll give kind of all the details on how other people can set it up, because I really think it's valuable for everyone. So I remember right in the beginning, for the first couple of months, actually. So for the first couple of months, every week, when it was my turn to go, I would say, I wrote one blog post, or I did, one thing, right? And I didn't really have that much to say. And Max would have a list. He said, okay, on Monday I did these 5 things. On Tuesday I did these 8 things. On Wednesday I did these 7 things. And I used to think, man, like how I felt like a lazy slacker, because I was thinking, man, like how is Max doing so much more work than me? And I was like, something is wrong, like I need to like step up my game, right? What's funny is I actually ordered some modafinil just because I knew so many people who were crushing it, like, using it. And so if you guys don't know what it is, they call it kind of like the limitless pill, where you can just like work for like 12 hours straight and just crush it. And the funniest thing is, ever since I ordered it, my productivity has skyrocketed, but I've never actually taken a pill. I think just knowing that I had the option to take it, it's increased my productivity.
Yeah, cool, man. Because definitely I think the recent weeks, man, it's like week after week week after week, you had like every week's like a one big thing, like selling your store and or like many big things, that happen, So yeah, that's really cool, man.
Well, the thing about selling my store was that was always on the back of my mind. So even before we started the podcast, I had reached out to a broker to kind of just see, how much how much I could potentially get for the store. But it wasn't until the mastermind that I had realized, I said, you know what? One of the big reasons why I'm not as productive, I'm not doing as many new tasks, is because I always like keep a reserve of energy just in case there's a big problem with an order or a customer or something for dropshipping, and it just it burns me out for the day. So every morning I would wake up, and the first thing I would do is I would open my emails to see if there's any like customer or supplier issues, and then I would try to call them before it was too late in the US. So by the time I get to the office, it's usually, if it's 8 a.m. here, it's already 5 p.m. in the US. So I can still call, but if I wait too many hours, if I wait until afternoon, it's like 4 a.m. in the US, and you can't call anyone. So I realized that had taken a lot of my mental energy, just, having that be my first priority of the day. When, everyone advises, they said, do your most important tasks, right? But there I am answering like very low level customer service issues. Like, oh, this customer put in the wrong address. Not our fault at all, but now we have to deal with it. Now I have to contact this person, and my VA, they couldn't figure it out, so it escalated to me. So these little tasks, even though it was only taking like an hour a day, and for most people, they would be very happy just working an hour a day and making $2,000 or $3,000, $4,000 a month, and I was for a long time. But thanks to this mastermind, I realized, you know what? Everyone else is growing at such a rapid pace. If I don't do something, if I don't free up some time to start a new project, a year from now, I'm still going to be making the same amount of money while everyone else is going to get ahead.
Yeah. What would you say was like that triggered you really starting to take action on selling the store? What was it? Was it like that? Because I feel like having that idea of being burnt out at the beginning of the day, but that happened for a while before. So what was it like that made you decide like, I gotta sell that store?
It was 100% that every time we would meet, I would have nothing to talk about because and I realized, I was like, okay, something is holding me back. I was like, I have enough time to work on new projects. What is it? Like, what is the reason why I'm not taking on a new project? And I really thought about it, and I was like, you know what? It's because I'm reserving some mental energy, knowing that like once a month, there's a big issue that like stresses me out, and I want to be able to have the mental energy and the time to do it. And after that, I realized, okay, what is holding me back is having the responsibilities of being a business owner. A lot of people that don't own some kind of online business, or especially like an e-commerce store, they assume, just because most of it's automated, that it's, you don't want to think about it, right? But imagine you opened a restaurant, and even though you have employees, even though a lot of things are automated, if something happens and like someone calls in sick, or one of your VAs calls in sick, or they disappear or something, it's on you. You're the boss. You have to go fill in, and this stuff happens. You have to train hire a new employee or train a new employee. Let's say you have a supplier issue. Your pizza dough is not being delivered, or your pepperoni is not being delivered. Now you got to go out and find another supplier, or let's say your ads are not working. And these are things that you think about as a business owner. And it was 100% because I realized, okay, before I start a new project, I'm going to have to get this off my plate because I'm overcommitted emotionally to it. And I think some people wouldn't be as committed. I think some people like, oh, whatever. If you have a 1 month, it's not doing so well, it's not a big deal, But I think for me, especially because, I screenshot my income reports every month. If I have a dip 1 month, I feel really bad. I'm like, oh man, like my business is failing. I got to spend more time on it. While other people are like, oh, I still made $2,000. I'm still happy. But for me, I always like I wanted to either to see it grow or I wanted to get rid of it.
That's good. That's a good idea, your income reports, because I think, it really puts like a big accountability on you. Like you can't really forget about your stats, and like drift on another project and then forget about the money these other businesses are making for you. So yeah, I think that's a very good idea, actually.
Yeah, I would say aside from the joining the mastermind, the other thing that's increased my income the most is just by doing income reports and having the personal accountability. So income reports has given me the personal accountability where every month I'm forced to take a look to see if things are, growing or going down, or, if income source somehow dries up. And then what I actually started doing now, just as of this month, now that you have even more time, I started writing on each one, plus or minus, so how it compared to the month before. And I think when I get even more time, I would love to kind of like really chart it out, maybe graph it out and see how it grows like over the year. And I think that's very useful for people too, because they just see a number. Unless they go back to last month's income report, they don't really know the difference. So they're impressed anyways. They're like, oh, he made $2,000 this month from this. That's cool. But is that a growth from the month before, or is it going down from the month before?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so you would say that basically, the your income reports and selling your store, you think that would be like the most the biggest achievements. Is there anything else you'd be kind of happy about? And
yeah, so there's 3 total actually. So that was the first, and then the second was I was thinking, it's like, oh man, if I sell my store, I don't want to see my monthly income go down, and also I don't want, like, for me personally, I don't want to see it go down. I think nobody wants to take a pay cut, right? But secondly, I think it's also because people are used to seeing my income reports slowly go up, and people are following the journey because they want to see what's possible with some hard work and dedication. And if I just lose the dropshipping income from one of my stores, then I'm losing $2,000-$3,000 a month, and it's all of a sudden, instead of making 10 or 15,000, maybe I'm making like less than 10, which I don't want to see. So I was thinking, I was like, okay, I'm not ready to start a whole nother store yet, because then that's just adding more stress again. I am going to do it probably at the end of the year. I think November is the time. I want to give myself a few months, but I want to give myself a few months break. So I was thinking, what can I do in the meantime to try to replace some of that income, or ideally all of that income that I'm losing, but by doing something that is completely passive, completely hands off. And that's when I realized, I was like, you know what? A lot of people want to know how I do things, how I am successful with dropshipping. Because even though I tell people, I'm like, look, just join Anton's course, that's how I learned everything I know, a lot of people are still like, no, there has to be more. There has to be something else that, like, why are you?
Formula.
Yeah, what is the secret formula? And I tell people, I'm like, no, I don't think there's anything secret. I think I just took the course. I maybe learned some things on my own. I tested some other things, just do the basics. But then I realized, I was like, you know what? Maybe there are a lot of things that I've learned in the last 3 years I've been running my stores that wasn't covered in those first 9 videos that were part of Anton's course. So even though Anton's method was perfect for starting out, of just starting a brand new store, I realized, he doesn't really talk about the kind of like higher level stuff. And that's when I decided, I was like, you know what, maybe I'll make my own course that's not really geared towards the beginners, because for beginners it's still better just to go through Anton's course. But maybe I can have a course that's really for people that want to level up, that want to they don't want to just make $2,000 or $3,000 a month from the store. They want to have a 6-figure income, which is what I've developed using my stores as kind of like a foundation, but kind of implementing all these other formulas. I was able to to make over 100,000 last year.
Yeah, because I from the people, I'm not like a dropshipping expert, or I'm not very familiar with this industry, but I feel like most people are not doing 6 figures a year with one store.
Yeah, 100%. And that's actually like the whole point of my sales video. So if anyone wants to check it out, what I did was I basically said, okay, I want to do something completely passive. I want something that could hopefully replace some, or if not all, of the missing income. And I want to make something that can really help other people, because I really believe that if you want to make $1 million, you could just help 1 million people. And it's like one of the easiest ways, right? And it's like a nice way to do it. So I thought, okay, what can I do? And I said, let me make a course on this. And one of the big benefits of the Mastermind is you would not let me settle on a subpar, crappy domain name.
Yeah. What was your first name idea? I guess. What was
Okay,
it?
so I was looking for short domain names. I was looking for like drop shipping. Really wanted drop shipping secrets, dropshipping because that was kind of like the whole idea, right? Like, I'm going to show you the secrets of drop shipping that have brought me from a couple thousand a month to six figures. Then I looked at like, six-figure drop shipping, and all these names are too long or they're taken. And I was thinking, I was like, okay, you know what? The course can be called Dropshipping Secrets Revealed. And that would be too long, but I found out that secretrevealed.com is available, so I bought it. And I was like, okay, Max, I know it's not the best domain, but it's going to be called Secret Reveal.
But yeah, it's better than like well, I don't know, but yeah, no, seriously, I saw. But yeah, I mean, you can still get away with a bad name, because there's a lot of companies with like, and it's not the worst name, definitely not, but yeah, I don't know. I just I think like these days when I saw you come up with like Dropship Lab. Even like I saw the other day on my Facebook wall, like the page, dropshiplab.com. Like seriously, I'm still thinking like on my own, in my place with my laptop. I'm like, how did he get that domain name? Because I really think it's really good, man. It's like, it's short, it's crisp, and it's there's what it is. So there's good descriptive, there's a good benefit. And yeah, I really like it, man. I think that's like a very, very good domain name you got there, man.
Well, thank you, Max, because you're the reason why I continue looking for it. I spent hours, like days, looking for a good domain name that was available, and I didn't want to spend money on it, so I wanted to be able to register one for $10, and nothing was available, and I really just gave up. I was like, "There's no way anything's available," and then I started really digging like deeper. I was like, okay, dropshippingformulas.com. I was like, formula, laboratory. I was like, dropshiplab.com. Let's see if that's available. And it was. And it was $10, and now I have it.
Well, that's like the internet gods sending you a message or something, because that's like, this 3-syllable, really good name, But the thing I realized too is most people they're kind of bad at naming stuff, So I think like there's a lot more bad names registered than like good names, So that's why for me, for example, I've got some good, pretty good names registered, and when you look at a really good name, I think I don't think it's a good name necessarily. You got like a less chance of like a bad name, But Dropship Lab, it's one of these courses. It's one of these names you look at, and it's like, and you look at these brand names and stuff, and they're making like millions a year. It's like big brand, and you're like, it's just right, like that name. It just feels right to be big, and well known and authority. It feels like an authoritative name, and Dropship Labs definitely has that potential because that's like it's I feel like it's a very you could build like the digitalmarketer.com of dropshipping with that name, definitely, I think.
Yeah, and I think the other benefit of being the mastermind is being accountable for your choices and your actions. So if it was just me and I had nobody to answer to, I would have just settled with Secret Reveal. I'm like, I could talk myself into, it'd be like, oh, it's pretty short. Like, oh, like most people can spell it. And then, I could justify it, right? But the fact that every week I had to say it out loud, and every week you would just remind me how important it is to have a good domain name. That's the benefit, and I think that's kind of the benefit for any mastermind, no matter what you're starting, is it doesn't allow you to trick yourself into doing subpar work. Like the people in your mastermind that care about you, they're going to want the best for you, so they're not going to let you, just kind of slide by and settle. They're going to make sure that you do the best work. And because of that, I was able to get not only the domain, but I was like, let me set up like a really nice page. Let me do everything kind of correctly. The only shortcut I took was, instead of building the membership site on my own platform, which last time with the Earnest Affiliate took me like 3 months to build, because you have to do it in WordPress, a lot of coding, a lot of things. I decided to say, you know what, let me put it on Udemy first. So if you guys go to dropshiplab.com and you you just click, get access, it actually takes you to the Udemy page. The reason why I did that is it's faster to launch. Udemy kind of walks you through everything, like, enter 10 bullet points here, upload the videos here, name it here, drag it around here. So for like a course creator, it's just faster to do. Like I was able to finish it in less than a month.
Yeah.
And normally it would have taken me 3 months. So the downside to it is Udemy only lets you price your course at $50 maximum. If this was on my own platform, it probably would have been, I think I probably would have started at $97 and eventually went up to $197 or maybe even more. But because Udemy caps it at $50, that's just where it is now. And I told myself, I said, okay, you know what? Maybe when I get 100 students or 200 students, maybe then I'll move it, then I'll move it to another platform. I'll take my time doing that, and then I can raise the price. So it's almost like right now, it's kind of like a launch special. Maybe I would have priced it cheaper anyways in the beginning just to like get people in, get reviews, and then move it on down the road.
But man, at the end of the day, it's like I feel like most people, they'll think about that stuff harder. I think it doesn't really. It's not. It's. I think what I'm trying to say right now is you got a really good marketing foundation. You got a really good name. You got a really good offer. You got a good positioning. And all that stuff. And now, like, if going from Udemy, that's gonna be like that's not now that's details. Because then what is this the platform? It's just the it's just the mechanics of it. So. But imagine if you went to Udemy, and then with a bad name and with a bad offer and a bad positioning, and even there, like, that would be even irrelevant to think about that stuff because, the foundation would not even be right. So I think that you can really pat yourself on the back, for like, working on that foundation. And now, wherever you're going to go, this is going to sell because it's not about people are not buying courses, I think, because it's on Udemy. They're buying the course because they want a goddamn course, They want to follow.
Yeah. I think like most of the people who sign up for it have never even heard of Udemy. They're just like, okay, I sign up here. Okay, I do this.
Yeah.
So they just assume it's my platform anyways. I think the other benefit though of me putting on Udemy is that when Udemy sees that you have a hot selling course, they market it for you. So it's only been, I think it's been 2 weeks now. My course has been up and I made about $1,300 so far. So hopefully by the end of the month, if I can get to the 2,000 point, then it replaced my dropshipping income for the month, which would be amazing.
That's amazing, man. Yeah. That's like unbelievable.
So if I can continue doing that, if I can make $2,000 a month from this, and hopefully, I know there's always going to be more sales the first month because people are excited, but hopefully if I can get the momentum going, the snowball going, and if I can make $2,000 a month from it, and I can help those students increase their profits from their stores so they're making more money, like it really is a win-win for everyone. It'd be a win for the guy who bought my store because he's growing it and he's gonna make more money from it. It's gonna be a win for me because now I get to free up my time doing other things, and it's gonna be a win for the students who normally wouldn't have had the opportunity to learn these things because I was too busy running the store.
Definitely, man. I think it's going to be very easy for you to replace it. And how amazing is it? Because seriously, I just feel like the work you have to do from like that Udemy course versus your Dropshipping store, how does this compare? It's
yeah.
like,
And well, I think the biggest difference is, now that this course is up, it's pretty much 100% passive. I'll go in and answer a question, the discussions. I'll update it whenever needed. Maybe I'll add some more videos, like if a lot of people ask questions about a certain topic. But aside from that, it's pretty much going to be passive income, which is very nice. So I actually, halfway through making this course, I actually almost had to pause it because another opportunity came up. So that's the third thing that I've done since I started this mastermind. And it's my new podcast. So by the time you guys are listening to this, it is out. So you guys can, if you guys want to check it out, you can pause it and you can subscribe to the new podcast. It's called Invest Like a Boss. And the reason why I started this is Sam Marks, who is the guy who I met because we invited him to speak at the 2016 Nomad Summit. And if you guys haven't heard his talk, it's really, really inspiring. He became a multimillionaire at age 27. He was on the podcast as well. We'll have a link to that episode. where he explained kind of the whole journey of it. But, he's a young guy. He's early 30s, and he's a multimillionaire who likes to invest his money because he sold his first company for, I don't know, something like 20 million plus was his share of it. I think it was $100 million total between him and his partners. And now he's figuring out all these different ways to invest and grow the money. So he's, been really interested in talking to people, about different type of investment offers. And he was asking me like some advice on how to start a podcast, what mics to use, how to record it, what he should name the podcast. And I was excited, because I enjoy podcasting and now I have so many episodes. And he was like, what? Why don't we just partner on this? And that's how it all started.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be awesome, man. That's going to be like a badass podcast. I feel like everything that's like about investing these days is very boring, like old people talking about stuff, and, that's going to be cool to hear it the Bangkok style,
What's crazy is I've actually had to listen to a lot of investment podcasts just to do some market research, and all of them are by these old, boring people. All right, there's two types of investment podcasts, right? I don't even know if the first is a podcast or not, but if you guys seen that movie Money Monster, it's like the guy on TV late night. I don't even know what that show is called, but he just like yelling. It's like, today's hot, stock of the day is this new blah, blah, blah company. And it's like, buy. This was a triple buy. And the thing is, those guys on TV, they probably have no idea what the heck they're talking about. They're just like they're on like Fox News or something. And that is like their job is to kind of just like talk about like today the NASDAQ is up, 26 points and the Dow Jones is up 5 points. Nobody cares, that's like anyone who knows anything about actual investment, who wants their money to actually grow in a safe way, does not care about the Dow Jones, which is like 30 random stocks or something like that. Every single person knows that if you buy any single stock, you're gambling. Like we're not day traders. We're not trying to we're not trying to get people tuned in for like the latest hottest info. We're like, look, we have money and we want to actually invest it. We don't want to listen to this crazy guy, but we also don't want to listen to these super boring guys that, the other podcasts, all these guys are like in their 50s, they're all retired, they're all like wanting to retire, and their goal is to be able to retire and like have just enough money so they can kind of feed their two kids and their wife and go on vacation once every 2 years by saving. That's not what we want to do. We want to boss it up, We want to like enjoy life. We want this to be exciting but like still like smart. And I think that's why it's going to be a good podcast. It's going to be like the investment podcast for people in their 20s, 30s, and maybe even low 40s.
Cool, man. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, probably the idea of at least for me, it's attractive. To learn how to invest, but without having to really dig deep in it. But like that point of diminishing returns where it's like you have to learn a lot more to get a little bit better. But just getting to that point where it's like the 90%, the 20% learning, the 20% of the stuff you gotta learn to get 80% of the result. That's that's the kind of stuff that I think would be interesting. Like index funds and stuff like that. That's.
Yeah, so if you guys take a listen to the episodes, the very first one is Sam's investment portfolio. So he actually openly talks about every single thing he invests in, and he has like 20 different, different types of investments. From I think he does a little bit. From what I remember, he does a little bit of index funds, but he also invests in like storage companies in Hong Kong. He invests in like forex. He invests in annuities, all these crazy things. He has like 20 different things. And then in the second episode, I talk about everything I invest in. So I have index funds with the Vanguard. I have a wealth fund account. I have some individual stocks with Schwab. I have, I just opened an IRA. I have all these other random things. So I kind of go over like everything that I invest in, why I invest in it. I even tell you exactly how much I invested in, how much I made or how much I lost. And then every episode after that, either both of us or one of us is interviewing an expert in that field. But what's really cool is you guys can kind of follow the journey, because probably every month or every quarter, we're going to do like an income update. So just kind of like how you guys like the income reports for johnnyfd.com for how much money I'm making income wise, we're going to do like an investment income update with, what have we been investing our own personal money into, if it's been doing good, if it's doing bad. And I really think this is going to be not only fun, but it's going to be very helpful for people.
Yeah, cool.
So that's it. Those are the three things. So I sold my dropshipping store, I started dropshiplab.com, and investlikeaboss.com. And this is all within a couple months.
Yeah, man, it's pretty amazing. And of course, I'm not talking about the smaller stuff. Like that's like the big. But there's definitely some smaller things, like 1-2 weeks things that you probably did, and it was like, even at least for me, it's like I'm glad that thing got done. But it's one of the smaller things. You can't remember everything, but
yeah, definitely. So I've 100% been more productive these 6 months, being part of this mastermind than I would have been on my own. So I really appreciate that. But I'm also happy that you've been crushing it. So can you tell everyone what you've been up to?
Yeah, cool. I would say in terms of like higher level big projects, so the first thing would be launching the Biohack brand. So the Biohack is a supplement to support testosterone levels in men. And I must be very careful about what I'm claiming here, because that's like actually the reason I think this supplement is really good is because of the main ingredients called Tongkat Ali. And after having researched probably over 300 400 scientific studies, with websites like examine.com, and I'm not like a PhD in nutrition, but I have a good common sense, and I can understand what works and what not, and I have a good understanding of the supplement industry, so yeah, the main ingredient in the formula is really good, and we have 2 studies that one shows a 46% increase in testosterone in 30 days, and another one that shows 37% at the same time. And so I when I saw that, I was like, this is awesome, because there's so many men in America that like are passing 35, 40, and they start to feel like a little bit more sluggish, start seeing their sex drive going down, and they wish they could lose weight faster, but because of the testosterone is like the master hormone that drives so many like it's such an important hormone in like fat loss and muscle building, that even though they make a lot of effort in the gym, they don't see that much rewards for their efforts. And I thought, like, just as much as there is stuff in our lives that we don't realize the importance, but these are really foundation things like electricity. When's the last time you thought, I'm so grateful for having electricity? But imagine your life without electricity. How would that suck? Like, there's absolutely nothing you could do, actually. And I feel it's pretty much the same way with testosterone. So I'm really happy about that product. I can stand 100% behind it. Basically, the thing I'm very happy about it is that whereas my first successful product maybe took a year from like conceptualization to like finish and like selling well, this product took less than 3 months, from like no idea what is it that I'm gonna sell, like basically from I want to sell a supplement to I have a strong supplement brand with like a finished product in the warehouse in 1 week. Like that's that, we're gonna receive the first order in like 1 week at the warehouse, man, like in less than 3 months. That's, for me, that's really good. If I can spin off a product like that every 3 months, I'm gonna be very proud of it.
And you'll be very rich from it.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, well, we already sold we did a pre-sale campaign. Already sold like over, I think, 50 bottles of it. Just a little quick email, for the pre-sale, and yeah, I'm very happy about that supplement. It's I think like as the more money like you have to support yourself, and the more peaceful you are about like your finances, the more you can really take time to make great stuff. I think, for example, you with the Dropship Lab, maybe if you had like no money in your bank account and you were stressed about money, maybe you would have just thought, maybe you just thought like, what, Secret Reveal's good enough. Fuck it, I want to sell something here. And but since you're not really forced to do that. You're not really forced to get out a new course. It's just you want to do it. And so that gives you like I feel that's very important. That's a very important mindset to go in. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm very proud about that first thing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think the other part of it is, kind of freeing up our own time as well. So I think one of the big milestones that you had kind of early on was when you first hired your first customer service person. Because before you were answering all the emails and you were taking care of everything. And so that would use up so much of your time and mental energy, kind of the same as like with my dropshipping store. And it was because of the mastermind that you were like, okay, I have to do this, right?
Yeah, that was actually the second thing I was about to say. And well, actually, that would be the third thing. I think there's one thing I would like to say to help frame that next one is starting to see my because now we have 3 brands. So we have the Accelerated Abs brand. We have the Biohack brand, and we have the 3-Minute Meals brand. It's going to be a new iPhone app for men to cook a full week of meals in 2 hours. So for men to be able to cook really delicious meals that help burn fat and not, pull their hairs out of it, like so many diets and stuff. And so now we have, I have 3 brands, and I think last year I was operating in terms of like more legal type stuff. I was operating like a sole so everything was under my name, and there is some legal things to go with that. There's some legal problems, but for me, it was even more than that. It was actually a change of perspective, Now, 3 months ago, I finalized the incorporation. No, actually, less than 3 months ago, but I started to really look around very seriously, and then 2 months ago, we finalized the incorporation for the company in Hong Kong, which is called Health Guardian. And now it's a big mind shift because now it's not about me anymore. It's about the company that holds these brands, And now I'm just somebody that is at the company and help direct that energy. So I'm less and less thinking about creating this new product and selling stuff, but I'm actually more thinking about higher level stuff, like creating structures, creating systems, hiring people, and so that I can create a system where all that stuff that I want to do gets done much faster, much better, and without me actually being in there, So actually, how do you scale from 1 million to 10 million and more, That's my thinking, and I couldn't get there actually if I did not get this company structure done, because now I can say, and which brings me to the next point, which is hiring people, man. Now not only the customer service, I had a customer service last year, and she kind of gave up on me at the end of the year, so she kind of just disappeared, And I just kept doing the customer service and stuff, and 2015. So that was the only person I had on the team. And I had some outsourcing consultants and stuff, but they were not full-time or part-time team members. And now we have at the company we have we have one customer, our customer support team member. We have another part-time team member that does the traffic generation, and now we also have a full-time team member that does the optimization. And we are, and another Nicholas who's doing a mobile dev. So basically now we're 5 now with me, which is great. It's awesome, and it's great for me to be able to support these people, and see them, getting shit done much faster than I could do, altogether. So
I love it. I actually completely forgot. I guess the fourth thing I did was I hired Anthony. So you guys, got introduced to him 2 episodes ago in 117, but I didn't realize that he was running out of money. He was in Vietnam, kind of not sure what to do. He had some good skills. He had his own blog, tracktheworld.tv. He has his YouTube channel, but he wasn't making any money. And he's like, well, I'm running out of money. I don't know what to do. Do I move back to the U.S.? Do I, teach English? What do I do? And this internship has allowed him not only to learn, from someone who has done it before and has been successful, but it's also taking care of all his expenses while he's learning all this stuff. And it's been so helpful for me because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have taken on Invest Like a Boss because there's so much work to create a new website, to edit all these podcasts, to create the show notes, to upload it everywhere, to share it everywhere. It just takes so much time. And ever since I've had him on board, he's now doing it for both my Travel Like a Boss podcast. So, if you guys are listening to this right now, it's not me editing anymore. It's not me uploading anymore. It's not me sharing anymore, which I did for 114 episodes. Now it's completely him. I just drag it to a Dropbox, and then magically it just shows up on my phone, as well as like 30,000 other people's phones, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's and actually, I'm very grateful for you. Actually, very like inspiring me to getting Chris on board, which Chris is our new now he's gonna soon be like a specialist on the conversion optimization team. Now he's like an apprentice. And so it's really great to have him. Like Chris has been like a superstar, and I'm such very lucky to have him on team. So and I don't think I would have done it if it was not you. That actually to actually do it before me, and me seeing the results of you having Anthony on board. Because just looking at you two guys, it's like, wow, man. That's like Johnny just duplicated himself.
Yeah, it really does feel like that way. Because then, like now, when I go. Even if I just go to the gym, or if I'm working on a longer term project, I don't feel like I'm wasting time, because I know someone is there doing just as good as work as I would have done. If anything, he's probably doing it better than I did, and I don't have to think about it. So it's like, it really is like having two of me. And what's great about Chiang Mai is there's such a plethora of people who have skills that want to live this location independent lifestyle. And not all of them have the knowledge of how to do it yet. But if you guys want to look for an intern, this is one of the best places to do it. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to announce this like 2 months ago and have you guys move out here for it. But to be honest, it's one of those things where, as like a business owner, it's actually a lot more risky, a lot more investment for us to to interview someone over Skype and then have them move their life over. I really believe that if you guys are serious about this lifestyle, that you guys would come over regardless if you have a job opportunity or not, and just try to make it work for yourself. Even if you're just starting with freelancing, even if you're just starting with publishing, or you're going to start your own dropshipping store, whatever it is, like try to do it on your own and keep your ear out for opportunities as well.
Yeah. Because Chris, I think the reason I brought him in is because he was here, he was here. He was great, but if he wasn't here, I would have thought like, oh yeah, he's great, but man, I don't want to risk having him come here, or not liking Chiang Mai or something like that, or because at the end of the day, we don't want to turn over, like we don't want a high turnover. We don't want to be able, always have to start over again, and all that stuff. Even though we're kind of in this other country, Thailand, but we're still. At the end of the day, I think I'm living here, and I don't want to. I want to treat stuff like I'm living here too. I don't want to work with people that are just here for vacation or something.
Yeah. So both Chris and Anthony had their own things going. So so Anthony had his blog and his YouTube channel. So even though it wasn't very profitable, he was trying something. And if it wasn't for him having those two things, I wouldn't have hired him. It was the fact that he had a YouTube channel, even though it's not profitable. It shows me his work ethic, that he can be consistent in uploading videos, that he knows how to, like, some basic editing, that he knows how to like title and tag a video. For his blog, it shows me that he knows some basic WordPress. Like, it's not like that he was an expert, he's not like a developer or anything, but these are like very basic skills that as a owner, we want to be able to see, like, we don't have to train them to do that. That either they already know how to do it, or they can figure it out by kind of self-training. So that way they can kind of get started right away, and we can kind of just give them the guidance for them to take it to the next level.
Yeah, and it's actually too. It's like John Paul Deloria said, like the guy that does the what's the name of the tequila that's like super high premium tequila?
Patron.
Yeah, Patron Tequila. Yeah, so he's got they have this brand, and yeah, he's actually a billionaire. And he was talking about his success is how well you do stuff when nobody's looking, you know. And yeah, I think, you know, for example, Chris, he's got his channel, he's got his blog, it's great. It doesn't make money necessarily, like, or maybe it does, but not a lot. But it shows that, you know, he doesn't have to do that, but he still does it, and he does it very well, you know. So that tells a lot about the character of somebody, you know. It's like how well do you do stuff when nobody's looking at you, or how well do you treat people that you don't need to treat well, you know. And yeah, how do you behave when nobody's pushing you to behave that way? Tells. Yeah, definitely. For me too, like one thing that, because at the end of the day, I think it's also, you know, important. I don't know what's like your vision, your goal, you know, but for me, Health Guardian, I want us to help, you know, our mission, or we got a moonshot mission, and it's to help 1 billion people by 2050, you know, and we want to help like a lot of people, and we have this big, you know, this big goal, and everything we do and everything I do that with that in mind, you know, not necessarily like the end of it, but like we're building stuff for the long term, we're building stuff for scale, you know. And so now I'm thinking, well, when you have a great person like that that's working with you, how do you make sure that he's gonna want to keep doing great work, you know? And it made me start thinking like, because I'm the same way. I will never like micromanage like any team member. And now, you know, it's like, how can I just, you know, make sure that I'm out of their way, and I make sure that, you know, the resources are there to support their growth, you know, so they have something to look forward to. Because at the end of the day, you know, yes, they do great work. Yes, they're superstar. They're self-motivated. But I think they want to look forward to the next stuff too, you know. They want to look forward to like being like more important in the organization, making more money, you know, and all that stuff.
So the other thing I told Anthony, like straight away, right in the beginning, I think that's the third rule I forgot to mention, is that I told him, I said, the day you stop learning something and you feel like it's just like a boring task that you're doing over and over again, that is when we want to bring someone else on board and have you train them. You know, that's why I have them do SOPs, like standard operating procedures for everything. That way, when it's time to bring on a VA, you know, or another intern, that they can train them very quickly and say, okay, now this is your job to do, like, let's say the editing and the uploading. And then Anthony can level up. And instead of being like the intern, he's now, you know, he goes from like, you know, major to lieutenant to general, you know. And that's my goal. And I told him that right from the beginning, you know. So, you know, right now, like, he's still learning a ton, you know, from launching all these things and doing all the things. But the day that he stops learning from it, I'm like, okay, let's hire someone. Let's have you learn how the leadership skills and the management skills and how to hire someone, how to teach them, how to manage them. And then you can also do other projects as well that are a bit higher level.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Actually, I love this idea you just said about like when you don't learn anymore, it's time to delegate. Yeah, that's I haven't thought about that, and it's pretty. Yeah, it's a neat way to see it.
I like it. So clearly, there are so many benefits of starting a mastermind, being a mastermind. You don't have to go out and pay thousands of dollars to be part of a mastermind. I think that's one of those upsells of a lot of places that they put you together in a group. And they really upsell the value of a mastermind. And it's easy to do so because they are valuable.
You don't have to go out and pay thousands. You just got to come to our mastermind, pay thousands of dollars to our. Just kidding.
Sorry, we're not accepting new members, but seriously, I think the reason why people, you know, sell it as a service is because it is really valuable. Like, it is super valuable. You know, I haven't been to any of these seminars that do this, but I've heard that one of the reasons, you know, like what's really popular at a lot of seminars now is they talk about like the power of a mastermind, and then they say, okay, you know, there's only room for 8 people, so the first 8 people to run to the back of the room, you know, with their credit cards, we can get you in. And here's the thing is, those people probably actually do get their money's worth, because those people probably, you know, were the type to not set it up on their own. They kind of need like the structure of how to do it. And just the fact that you're paying money to do something that shows that you're committed. Second, they're setting you up and kind of, with like-minded people. And then third, like they're probably, forcing you on a schedule to say, okay, you guys are going to meet once a week and talk about this. So it probably is valuable, right? But you can also do it on your own, and if you don't have one, just get started, Like it's one of those things that even if you mess it up and you do it incorrectly, it'll still be beneficial. I think it's very different. Like if someone wanted to start a dropshipping store, I would tell them to take a course, because if you mess it up and you do things in the wrong order, you're probably going to, lose money and not be profitable. You're going to waste a lot of time. But with something like a mastermind, you can mess up like 99% of it. And as long as you show up, I think you'll still benefit.
Yeah. I would say because, I still had to think about it to throw that out, the mastermind. I started thinking about it in January, and actually I was thinking about it before. I always knew that accountability was very important for me, and in 2015 I actually hired a coach, that we talk every week, and I would pay him like $400 a month just to talk like every week for 30 minutes, talk about what I did in the last week, what I'm going to do next week, and that's it. And that was very helpful, actually. That was worth the money. Like this year I just thought, like, you know what, I'm gonna do the same thing as like this coach. I was working with this coach, but instead I'm gonna do with people that are really killing it here. And my idea was to get people that were making because I was making more than six figures a year, so basically like more than 10 grand a month. So I was like, let me get people that are either there or like very soon there, And I knew Johnny, and so basically the thing is, I think there's a big difference between like these kind of masterminds you're gonna pay $25,000 to go to, and it's like they hold an event 3-4 times a year or something like that. I think this is good, but I think what everybody really needs is a weekly accountability / mastermind group. So not really just the mastermind is very general, but at the end of the day, I think what you want is, if I go step by step, is first thing you want to identify, I would say 2 other people that are better than you or like at the same level as you. You don't want people that are like not, if you're going to be the organizer, you want people that are the same level as you, that can bring you stuff and you can bring them stuff. So once you identify this one, it can be actually 2, a mastermind, with 2 people works very well. We do it and it's good. I would say 3 is the best numbers. I would say don't go over 4. 4, I would say it's going to be a little crowded and it's going to be longer meetings. But yeah, you identify these 2, and then you just like build like a little schedule, So you say like this is going to be every week at like this time, And then you let these people know. And the format of the meeting is very simple too, The format I recommend is the normal meeting. How it goes is everybody talks for like, if there's 3 people, keep it to 60 minutes or less, I would say, because it makes it easier for people. So if you're 3, it's 60 minutes. What I recommend is everybody talks for 20 minutes, and there's 2 parts to it. The first part is talking about what you did last week, and then the next 10 minutes is talk about what you're going to do next week. And what I recommend is keeping a format of top 3 actions. So basically the first week, then you're going to set your top 3 actions. That's going to be it. The week after and all the other weeks after, you're going to talk about your top 3 actions. Did you do it? Did you not do it? Of the last week. And then you're going to talk about the challenges and stuff. And then you're going to talk about the next actions you want to set for the next week. And then you let people for like 5 minutes, they're going to tell you like, hey, here's what I would have done different with these challenges you met last week, or hey, here's what I would do instead, next week, and stuff like that. And you keep it very, very simple, and you let people know, how much that's going to benefit them. When you contact them, you let them know that this is going to double your efficiency by this is probably definitely going to double your efficiency. It's going to make you smarter decisions. Your business is going to move faster, and just try it out for one day. And so that's very easy. That is a very easy thing to do. It doesn't have to look like you get a create a logo for your mastermind and all that crazy shit. You just like to keep it simple, and I think it's very accessible for everybody to do.
I have to thank you for setting all this up, and I think part of it is because you have paid a professional coach $400 a month to be your accountability partner, that you've learned all these things. So when it comes down to it, it's good knowledge is worth the money. And you said yourself, it was worth the money. But now that you've kind of done it and he's kind of showed you the format and the benefits of it, then you were able to kind of create your own. So for everyone listening, you guys can just kind of learn from our experience and just jump straight into creating your own. Just kind of like learning from our mistakes, learning from our successes and the format. But I mean, kind of not to crap on the paid ones out there. They're probably worth it. It's good knowledge is worth the money. So I would also agree with Max that 2 to 3 people. I would actually say 3 people is the best. So we actually originally started with 3 people, and for personal issues, he's out. And here's the thing: is things happen in people's lives. With relationships or health or travel or and just whatever people go through. Don't let it stop your mastermind.
You cannot pull. You can pull at the beginning where people just don't see the value inside your mastermind. But once people see the value in the mastermind, so like after the first or second mastermind, and you feel like you gotta pull, don't pull. Just let them go. Because it's gotta be a thing where everybody pushes. Nobody, because if there's a dead weight, it's gonna be felt, and people are gonna feel like they're losing coming at the meetings. So it's gotta be only drivers that are pushing everybody else, and that's very important.
I agree. We started in person, which I think was a huge benefit. Knowing each other in person, getting to meet, see each other face to face, and then because we did it in person, now that we do it through Google Hangouts when we're traveling, it's okay because I think we already have the bond. We already have like kind of everything's kind of set up. So I'm actually leaving for Europe in a few days, and so me and Max are gonna be doing our masterminds through face chat, right, or through Google Hangouts. But it'll be okay because we've been we haven't missed a meeting, and I don't plan to ever miss a week, and we've been very good at that.
Yeah.
Just kind of let everyone know, like the schedule, is we do it every Thursday around 4 or 5 p.m.
That's the best. And I would say a Thursday or Friday because you want to do it when your week is ended or almost, because then you have stuff to talk about, and then you can also plan next week too. And then what we haven't mentioned is it's a very simple tool that we use because you say that it's just as easy with the Hangout, but I think a big part of that is because we have a very simple Excel spreadsheet as a Google spreadsheet. And there, it's very simple. Okay, it's just like basically there's like everybody's got a little. It's one page per meeting, and then there's like Johnny's name, my name, and under Johnny's names, for example, and under everybody's name, there is 5 lines, and that's like the top 5 actions. And then next to it, there's like a little box that says like done or not done. And that's it, So when we go like to when we do a new mastermind, then we just create a new sheet for that specific mastermind, and then we talk about the stuff that was in the last sheet, and then we fill out the next sheet. That's really easy. Basically, it's like having a piece of paper that every mastermind you got a new piece of paper that where you write your top 3 things. And so when you come at the mastermind, you talk about the piece of paper of last week with your top 3 things on it, and then you write new top 3 things.
I love it. And thanks for setting that up. So if you guys want to use Google Sheets, it's free. You can sync it with everyone so everyone has access to the same thing. And all it is literally is your name, 5 spaces, and next to it, if it's done, incomplete, or in progress. And then just copy it for every single week. What's great about it is seeing, it's the accountability, writing it down what you need to do, and actually taking the time to say, okay, what do I actually need to do? What are my top tasks? And then the next week going back and either clicking done or not done. And that gives you personal accountability as well as accountability in the mastermind, because you got to talk about it. You got to be like, okay, well, the reason why I didn't do it is because I was working on this even higher end project, even better, something that was even more important. Yeah. Or I fucked up. Yeah. And we do.
I slept or something.
So as far as messing up, there's a couple of different ways to kind of reward or penalize people for messing up. Do you want to talk about kind of what we do as well as kind of like the ideas we had behind it?
Yeah, definitely. We started. I mean, because I went in the army, and I have a very, like, I would say I have a strict policy for me. Like in terms of like I have a high standards for myself. I don't tolerate myself like not doing stuff that I said I would do and all that stuff. So I'm kind of comfortable with like putting my money where my mouth is. So I'm like so at the start I was like hey guys, let's do like let's put some money on our stuff, and like let's say if we don't do the task we said we'll do, then we're gonna like pay people money or something like that. That was the whole concept of it. Like it was more detailed and with some rules and stuff, but that was the whole concept. And seriously, I don't think it's a bad idea, especially if you need it. And I kind of pushed it. I think Johnny I was like, not like pushing it, but I was like, I think it's a good idea. And then Johnny's like, I don't think it's a good idea. And I was like, yeah, but Johnny, I think it's a good idea, and then that was kind of but what we realized is that, Johnny he said at the beginning, he said like, I think what we just really need to focus on is showing up, and in my mind I was like, well, that's kind of too easy, but because we already show up. But Johnny was right, because he said that like 1 month in, like when we started after the mastermind, he started saying that. And then at some point I just said like, you know what? I don't feel like I need it that much, and if I don't need it, well, then if Johnny doesn't feel he needs it, then whatever. It's just the thing I would say. Just as a note here is, this is not a hangout. You don't want this to become a hangout. Okay, this is not a time to hang out, because that's your enemy. This is an execution session. Okay, this is only specifically. The only purpose of this mastermind like this is to get shit done, and your enemy is to for your meetings to become a hangout, a casual hangout where you just talk about stuff, because then you're gonna lose all its accountability power, because then you're gonna think like, oh, I don't really need to do my stuff because anyway, it's just a hangout, we just talk about stuff. I just won't talk about the task that I did not do, and people will just ignore it, and we're gonna talk about cats anyway, or something like that. So you don't want it to become. But on the other hand, what I didn't realize is that, Johnny was right. Just showing up is kind of hard, but it's not hard, but you gotta do it, gotta do it every week. If you got something else, you're gonna move it, and you gotta make place for that every week. And so for us, it was enough. It was enough just to show up, and for me, it is enough. So we dropped that idea of like putting money on the line.
But I do think that if we were going to start a new one again, or anyone who's just starting a brand new one, I actually would put some money on the line. But I would put first meeting, everyone brings $100, in $20 bills or whatever it is, right? And then at the, and every week you hand one of those 20s back to the member and say, thanks for showing up. And so basically you're basically paying yourself for coming back, but it triggers the reward system in your brain. You're like, oh, I get $20 just for coming to this meeting. I'm always going to do it. And if you don't come, you don't get the $20. That stays in the pot for all the other members. And I guess the way it would have to work then would be every month for everyone to put in another 100. But the only sole purpose of that, besides like I guess kind of like the reward mechanism to get yourself to be excited to go, is to get yourself to show up and not want to lose money, because it feels a lot worse to lose money. For me personally, the only thing I wasn't against the attendance, because I knew I was going to show up anyways. But I think the only thing I didn't want to personally do was have be penalized for not completing tasks, because like I would write down like what my tasks are. I knew that things change, and I knew that like I'm not, like things come up, and I don't want to lie. First off, I don't want to get penalized because I end up working on something else that might be even more important, But mostly is because I knew that I would lie to myself, and this is very unfortunate. But it's good to know yourself. I knew that if there was money on the line, I would lie to myself and I would lie to the group members saying,
yeah. And I think you touched a very important point in life in general too. Is that's one of the things I learned about like coaching fitness clients, is that you always want to reward behaviors and not results. because behaviors, that's I really feel like success is in the process. It's how you do things every day, and it's not, because when you chase results, then that's where you compromise on your values. For example, the quality of your work, that if it's important to you, then maybe you'll compromise on that just to get that result, and at the end of the day, it's really like it's through the process. And that's like, I think it's very important in the mastermind and in life to reward yourself on the good decisions you make every day, and not like, did you get it done or not? But did you decide, I won't compromise on quality on this. I think this is a much better thing than like, congrats for like a half-assed done job, So definitely, yeah.
I love it. So, Max, thank you so much for organizing the mastermind every week and getting me part of it. It really has benefited me so much, and I'm glad it's also done the same. I really believe that life should be win-win. Everyone that we surround ourselves with, we should be lifting each other up.
Yeah. Well, thanks to you too, man, because without you, there would be no mastermind. So
yeah, because it would just be you. So every single person listening to this, I highly, highly encourage for you guys to at least get an accountability partner. If not, start a mastermind. Ideally it'd be 3 people once a week. If you guys need the details of it, just rewind this episode and kind of listen to it again. I want to give a quick shout out to everyone who's taken the time to leave reviews of the Travel Like a Boss podcast, especially on iTunes, because it helps us just reach more people. So if you've enjoyed, these episodes, if you got a lot of value from listening to the podcast, please, please, please take a second to go to the iTunes store, type in Travel Like a Boss podcast. Then you can click on the podcast, click on ratings and reviews, and then you can click on write a review. So we have 3 new ones for this month. I'll read the first. Maybe Max can read the second one, and then I'll read the third. So Chris Damon gives a 5-star review saying, excellent podcast that you can learn from. I listen to this going to work and while at work. Don't just take the inspiration, get to work. Johnny gives you awesome tips and actionable information. Definitely a must on my playlist.
Seamus95 whatever says, you gotta be your own boss. He says, check out Johnny FD Epic Podcast. He's a successful digital nomad based in Chiang Mai, but totally location independent. The cast is interesting and addictive look into travel, lifestyle, and various methods, and making good income while remaining location independent. Start at the beginning and listen to our hero's journey into travel and business. Wow, that's a really nice...
So thanks to you all again, and I will see everyone next week.
Bye.
Au revoir. Thank you for listening to the Travel Like a Boss podcast. If you want to hear more, including the bonus How to Choose the Perfect Niche episode, join our mailing list at travellikeabosspodcast.com. See you next week, and remember, if you want to travel like a boss, you need to be your own boss. So start your online business today and start living the lifestyle you've always dreamed of.